We are back again on Medbed Taiga today to continue with our moose grind, and from here, things should start to pick up. We're finally getting to the time when I'm going to be able to put more hours into this, and only being 350 kills in this far since the Moose Great One release, I think we're going to need it. So if we can't get it today, and hopefully we can, we should be able to start racking up kills a little more quickly going forward. And in a bit of an odd spot, we've got our first bull moose of the hunt. Now, I think maybe we're just a little bit early, but I've actually not seen a bull moose around here in general for a while. So we'll take that, maybe a sign of some respawns kind of moving around, but we're kind of between this little lake and the big one over here. And just because we started a little bit early, 12:30, moose on a lot of people's maps are showing up late is a bit early. I'm thinking that it's going to be best to run to this lake rather than fast traveling to our tent, but a bonus bull on the way is not a bad deal. And, you know, with the black bear grind, we went over 5,000 kills, still don't have a great one black bear yet. I always like to start off the grinds with a gold, hoping that would be a good sign. That's nowhere near a gold, although a bit of a different kind of branchy rack than we typically see. But it never did get us a great one with the black bear, so maybe that's not important. And just maybe, that extra time we spent walking here rather than just fast traveling could have worked out. Not sure if these moose would have gotten here had we fast traveled before we would have just seen nothing and left, but a pretty good size level 4. And next to that, a decent-ish 3. That shot was high, but we're also like 40 meters beyond the 0 range. Looking like maybe it was vertebrae after all. 2 shots will bring him down regardless. He's still not starting to drop in health. Finally he is. I think we'll get him. Not the best, but should be too. And while we're not starting off with a gold, we had a much smaller one to begin with. Our second one is not bad. 234 for him. Left lung almost had the heart. Just like a pixel or two too far to the right to get that, but the other one did go down. Blood's gotta be somewhere in here. Not too hard to find the blood, but that was a long track. I really haven't picked up that many tracks along here, so I don't know if it's going to end up saying 850 meters would be about right. And it was. Vertebrae the first time, and shoulder the second time. Just too high on those shots. Could have saved us a lot of tracking, but the one good thing it does is gets us far enough away from these lakes we can actually fast travel there. Oftentimes with that tent placement, if we're already within render of the moose from being at the bigger lake, fast traveling will just spook everything, so this sort of works in our favor. And even better than that, we should have another gold. The only thing is, we're going to have to do something to alert him. That cow is completely hiding it. That didn't take long at all, though. And that should be a heart shot. So, while we had to run almost a kilometer to go and get the 3, we're able to jump right to here and kind of make up for lost time. And we'll try to ride that little wave of momentum into the next spot here before we head north. After what was a pretty promising start, things have really slowed down. We had a couple of nice 4s, and then coming up here to the big lake, there's been nothing all the way around. I mean, plenty of cows, but no bulls all the way to basically the last zone in the lake. So we'll try to get these 2. Hopefully we can do a slightly better job than the first time. That should be good. And I think we heart shot the second one somehow. Not a bad deal, but when things do start to slow down, typically I'll just go and run the river, and I think that's going to be the plan now. Just quickly before we do though, I want to see how we actually heart shot this because it moved. Looked like it was just maybe starting to kind of flinch to begin the process of fleeing though. So maybe we were good, or maybe he turned just a little bit, because I didn't think we had that lined up, right? We'll take a sort of accidental heart shot regardless. And actually our level 3 is laying right there. Now, that is, I think, a rack that typically will make gold at level 3. So maybe we're still doing somewhat okay for quality, and just below. Oh, actually, he's got a mismatch rack. That could be the reason. Missed it by about 4, but anyway. Let's jump down to the river. It's only 1400. There's been so few moose in some of these spots that we're actually moving quite quickly, so maybe we'll be able to get the entire thing done. I think we have the exact same rack, the same mismatched set of antlers. Gonna try to get that shot before he disappears into the reeds, because I don't know if we're gonna get him spotted again. And that's gonna start our little river run. And as we get closer here, I think this was the same rack. Looks to be that mismatched set of antlers. It might not be the exact same, but mismatched and a 186 nonetheless. That's kind of been the theme of this grind. Like a lot of 180s and 190s moose, typically not above 194 to make gold though. Now maybe we're getting somewhere. Got a level 4 and I think again a level 3 that could have a shot at making gold. Gonna be tough though. That cow is very much in the way. The problem is that when you're shooting 2, you don't really want to alert them, so I guess we'll try this and hope that the 3 kind of turns broadside back this way. There's a chance he will, or he might turn to his right, but let's be semi-precise with that one. Might have done it. It's really tough. We got that long shot in there. Sometimes when there is another moose in front of the one that you want to shoot, there's like a fraction of a second window where the front one moves and the back one's still there. Luckily, even though he turned the way that we didn't want him to, we were able to sneak that shot in there. And when you make basically the same shot, lung and stomach versus, I think, double lung, they kind of go down in the same place and save on track. 187 still only getting a silver for that level 3. But this guy at 207 is at least going to get us past the gold marker for the first time in a while. Well, on the bright side, the river seemingly has far more decent moose than anywhere else we've been. Another max estimate 4. And we have that 3 in there too. That's going to be tough to get, but we can hard shot the 4. Maybe kind of do that same thing. Looks like we did. Kind of getting lucky. Now, at that range, it's maybe a little less luck because it's far easier to place that shot. The first time, though, it felt like the moose could have moved in the amount of time it would have taken the bullet to get there. But I do think as we have maybe our second biggest one of the hunt at 219 here, we should make it all the way up through. Oh, this will be intriguing. Got some wolves coming down here. Now, we probably should be careful here. It's a good zone, although it is primarily the cow moose and a couple of bulls. I wonder if we can just sort of shoot the males and hope that the others will end up fleeing. We still have the one other one to go and get. If you do shoot a couple or make it take long enough, sometimes they just kind of leave. The other thing I'm considering too is just fast traveling. I mean, the zone's kind of gone already. I guess we'll just go ahead and get rid of these. Sort of helps if you actually hit them. Well, had they fled with 2 less kills, we'd have been okay, but I'm sure we'll have moose around here somewhere, regardless of where they move their zone to. By the way, if you didn't know, they continue to growl as if they're still aggressive while they flee. I actually don't know at what stage they stop doing that. I mean, it's already made us delete the zone. Can we end up getting a shot at it? Sort of. That'll work. We got a bull moose laying here. Kind of tracked right to where the wolf ran to. And we got a bonus wolf, maybe for a future cool rare respawn or something. Luckily with them, there's multiple different multi-mounts with females in it, which, you know, makes it more appealing to try to get female rares. Well, on the plus side, we pretty well ran the entire river before moose drink time ended. 1610 is technically beyond the end of the early drink zones, but I'm fairly confident we'd have at least seen things walking off. The bad news is, no great ones, no diamonds, and no rares, but at least we did clear the hunting pressure from this little run, and we might as well go and do that loop and see what shows up. Well, finally, there's a little bit of palmation again. Another similar ford to what we had down there at the beginning in the southeast. And I think he might be the only one at this lake, but we'll go ahead and hit him. Another hard shot there as well. And, I mean, this is kind of what happened the last time we went up through here. Lots of these lakes just don't really have any bull moose anymore, and I do think at some point they're going to end up coming back. But I kind of wonder if what we did on... It's probably like a week and a half ago by the time this video comes out, but the Twitch stream, where we did a moose grind run. We went across the ice in the north, and we were able to kill probably 15 bull moose up there. Nothing special, one about the size of what we just got. But I wonder if somehow that impacted things. Maybe it freed up some spots for other moose to respawn that have been down here, I don't know. But at some stage we may need to run through up there again and just kind of see if that's where some of our moose are, because it definitely does feel a little bit lighter down here in terms of overall numbers. Sometimes it pays off to have a stream that happens after the time that we record a video, and after visiting our final lake and seeing nothing, fortunately, the most recent moose grind stream, we clutched something a lot cooler than a silver moose. The reason I chose it was because it would require me to get close, and, you know, that's... oh my god. Finally. I think that's going to score close to 300. We'll just kind of scoot into 150. And there's a real chance this could end up being the biggest diamond we get the entire time. That's what you would call the big rack. A thick lad, indeed. Get a 301 or bad? Don't worry, I won't. He's dead, though. Big male. Can we eclipse 300 for what would only be the second time ever? Fingers crossed. It's the fur type I like. Max weight is a 299. Huh. Well, that's a first. I can fairly confidently say we have never, on any grind of any sort, killed a max weight as the first one of the grind. Kinda cool. Sorta wish he was over 300, but he's got the rack. And it certainly makes for a much more interesting ending coming back to take a look at that guy than we would have with no Trophy Lodge visit at all. But a 299.1 score, good for, I believe, our second biggest ever since Moose True Racks and the changes to their score, because this rack actually used to score about 315, 316. And I think now our fourth trophy moose. The level 1 is a trophy in its own right, but to not count that one, we have the two piebalds, a 193 and 135 silver, one diamond now at 299, and of course the big piebald that I still regret not recording because I didn't realize it was a piebald at 236. So good to get a diamond finally, right about 410 kills. And hopefully that is just the launch point for good things to come in this grind. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.